Okay, let's see if I remember what I needed to do. Because there are a bunch of fragments. Let's see if I do remember. The gathering place inside of the Furude Shrine is in fact the headquarters of the Onigafuchi Guardians. Normally a shrine should be calm and a quiet place, but there are anti-dam signs everywhere, making it very obvious what this location has become. There are over 30 members of the Guardians here at the moment, and they are having a heated conversation about their plans for the future. Although this meeting place is on the Furude family's property, it's a community facility, so it closes at 9 p.m. Of course, sometimes the discussion gets so heated that it goes on past closing time, but meetings are supposed to end by 9. If a discussion ends early, they usually chit-chat until that time. That's what usually happens. Of course, they mostly talk about the dam, even when they chit-chat. They talk about someone's mistreatment at the government office, or someone getting arrested unjustly, or complain that the people at the dam construction site are too violent. Since it's idle chatter, the topics are slightly emotional, and because of that, there was a good deal of bad-mouthing the Hojos.
そしたらさ、回覧板捨てちゃったとか言い出すんだよ。普通に考えてそんなことするかね。あそこの奥さんはさ、ちょっと勝ち気が過ぎて攻撃的なんだよ。この間もさ、ゴミ置き場で牧野さんとこのばあさんとすんげえ口論してて。
だいたいなんていうかね。本当に粗暴だよね、あそこのご主人は。理性がないというか。
ああ、お前さんは地元説明会の時を見てないのかい？ありゃすごかったよ。なあ。あそこまで言うからにゃ、もう村にはおれんよ。さっさと出てけばいいのにさ。
金がもらえないのどうのこうの。朝飯行ったらありゃしないね。
いやいやいやいや、理性のなさで言ったら、あそこの奥さんも相当なもんだよ。
それでやっぱり遺伝なのかしらね。あそこのお嬢さん、買い物によく見かけるんで挨拶するんだけど、向こうから挨拶は絶対に返さないのよ。だから私たちバカバカしくなっちゃって、以来見かけても知らないふりしてんだから。
それ言ったら、あそこの坊主もいつも暗そうな顔してるよな。
By now, the Hojo family has become the enemy of the whole village. Bad-mouthing the Hojo family was the greatest shared topic that anyone could easily contribute to. If he had known how powerful the three families were, especially the Sonozaki family, if he had known Oryo-san's character, he wouldn't have said those things that he did. Hey, Couch! The Fat Uno is back! I guess so. I guess the Fat Uno is back. How are you doing, Couch? Did you finish your Minecraft mod? The Hojo couple are residents here. But they were never very enthusiastic about the council activities. They should have known what kind of person Oryo-san is. You could have imagined just what would happen to him if he talked to her that way. Yet, he let his anger take over and voice his unpleasant feelings. So most people think the Hojo family brought their isolation upon themselves. If they wanted to negotiate with the government regarding the move, they should have done so privately. Yet he was foolish enough to express himself at the public gathering like this. So not too many sympathize with the Hojo family. Ever since the big fight at the explanatory meeting, the Sonozaki family has looked at the Hojo family as their enemy and started to go after them. That caused the other pro-dam families to go quiet, fearing they'd be made into a scapegoat too, and those who wanted to leave were bitterly forced to give up. Even those people started criticizing the Hojo couple, saying they could have gotten their compensation to leave if the two hadn't picked that reckless fight. Both the anti-dam and pro-dam people hate the Hojos now, and the family has become even more isolated. Moreover, the Hojos are very aggressive. They should have stayed quiet, at least until things settled down, but they didn't. That alienated the handful of people who took pity on them as well, so now nobody even says anything to them. All of that was immediately obvious by listening to the foul talk here and there at the gathering place. Rika always helps out by putting the teacups away, so I'm sure she hears what they say as well. One of the Hojo family members they're bad-mouthing is Rika's friend, Satoko-chan. It hurts to think about what Rika feels while hearing that. As priest of the Furude Shrine, should I let this continue? Oyashiro-sama is a god who makes peace between enemies. When the humans and demons fought, Oyashiro-sama descended from the heavens and mediated between both sides. As the caretaker of the shrine, I must do something before it goes too far. I'm sitting next to Oryo-san, who is spitefully disparaging the Hojo family.
すったらんだほが抜かしおるんよ。ならんしゃもあもないんかいね、ほんまに。あんの裏切り者には絶対お社様のたたりが下るんね。許されなかといな。
The elderly people cheer her on as they listen to her speak. If I barge in now, I have a feeling it won't be a peaceful conversation. But I have to make up my mind. As the priest at the Furude Shrine, also for the sake of Rika's friend Satsuko-chan.
お嬢さん、北条さんの悪口を言うのはそろそろこれくらいにしませんかね。
ああ、なんね、何倍よりおるんかいな。
いや、北条さんもそんな悪気はなかったと思うんだが、あまりいつまでも尾を引くのはかわいそうだと。
しゃらしいね。おめえあれを聞いちゃどんなすったらんわんとね。なあ、しゃらしい。ああ、しゃらしい、しゃらしい。
Oryo is the head of the Sonozaki family, the heir to the demons. She never forgives anyone who stands against her. There's no way she would even listen to what I'm trying to say. Oryo and the others became furious and refused to listen to me. I also mentioned that the dam construction plan will be cancelled soon, so they should calm down already. I said that because the staff at the Idiot Clinic told me that the government is putting some kind of pressure on the Ministry of Construction. But thinking that I'm being an opportunist, soon criticism of me began to circulate around the room. After that, I realized I've become branded as a fence-sitter. If the demons are willing to listen, then there's a chance to make peace. But how can I make peace with people who refuse to listen? I destroyed their mood, so I just have to give up and shut my mouth. Then I felt a little hand on my back.
リカか、もう遅い時間だから家に戻っていなさい。
私たちがいくら努力しても届かない。
Okay, so it is regressed Rika. Rika looked into the distance while she spoke.
このよどみ切った村の悪兵はそのよどみに住まう私たちにはどうしようもないのかもしれない。でも希望をなくすものか。今にきっとこいつらを打ち破ってくれる人がやってくる。今にきっと。
Her eyes shone as if seeing a future that only the maiden of the Furude Shrine could see. Okay, so this is now Rika's family getting involved in this. What would this be directed towards? I need to look through again to remember. Right, we just did Depression of a Shinto priest? Yeah. Okay. Footsteps, no. Bottle of wine. Rock candy, no. No. Orthia curse. Red capsule, strawberry. Okay, so the strawberry milk candy we have. Watermelon from the Sonozaki family. Satoshi Hojo's awareness of his sins. Mysterious, okay. Tea on the veranda, put away. Tea on the veranda being put away. I don't know about that one. Maybe? Potentially? The death of Koizumi, death of the dam construction. Repetitive apologies. Satsuko Hojo's sister. Execution for the third year curse. Bat to beat her to death. No. Shirakawa Park accident. No. Kosuke Idia's decision. Motive to become a doctor. Okay, we know his motive to become a doctor. 30 years curse. L5 stage patient. Rika's father being marked as an opportunist. Rika's mother's suspicion. Oh. Rika's mother's suspicion. He is marked as an opportunist. But I don't think we know the other things. Live specimen for research, or the other thing being Rika's mother's suspicion. So not gonna bother with it, because it's the third sacrifice, right? So no. A live specimen for research is required. Tragedy at the dam site. No, not yet. Okay. Let's go do the strawberry milk candy. Let's do that. Mion Sonozaki. Mion-san! Your friend is here! I heard the housekeeper's voice. Our house and the front yard are huge, so unlike normal houses, ringing a doorbell or yelling my name repeatedly, asking to play, won't work.
あ、はいはい。ありがとうございます。どなたです？
Rika Furude-chama.
あー、来たね来たね。ばっちゃんにリカちゃまが来たって伝えてもらえます？多分、あっちの縁側にいると思います。私はスイカを引き上げてきますね。
Granny received many beautiful watermelons from somebody, so she wanted to share. I just called the Furude house a short time ago, and Rika-chan is here to pick one up. Did she come on her bicycle? I can't remember if it has a big enough basket. I pulled the watermelon from the well, thinking about that. The cold water in the well has refrigerated the watermelon, and the condensation makes it look delicious. The 3 members of the Furude family will enjoy it for at least 2 nights.
お持ち帰りだったのですか。僕はてっきり。あれ？おじさんそう言わなかったっけ？
The priest answered the phone, and I thought I told him to come pick it up. Maybe I wasn't clear enough, or maybe he misunderstood me completely. But she's here to eat the watermelon, not to take it home. Besides, the small basket on Rika-chan's bicycle won't hold the watermelon. And it's too dangerous for her to ride while holding it in her hands.
ミオン、お前リカちゃまんちまで超持ってたらな。スイカ片手んな自転車なんこがれんて。
僕だってスイカくらい持てますのですよ。
あ危な。リカちゃまに何かあったらお社様に申し訳立たんね。うちのミオンが運ぶんね。
あいあい、任せられたったら。じゃあついでに神主さんにご挨拶でもしてこようかね。
No matter whether she rides or pushes her bicycle, Rika-chan's hands will be occupied, so I'm gonna carry the watermelon. The sky is turning auburn in the sunset. The cool breeze feels good on my sandaled feet. The plastic bag I'm carrying contains the watermelon, and also some small bags of rock candy. If her mother finds them, she'll take them away, so we decided to eat them before we got to her home. We opened the bags and enjoyed the rock candy. Rika-chan isn't an exception. Whenever kids from our neighborhood come to our house for errands, Granny gives them some treats. Actually, that's a pretty common rule here in Hinamizawa. It's funny, but sometimes when parents aren't watching, siblings will fight over who gets the circular notice to the next house over. These bags of rock candy are like tips for them. Of course, she doesn't normally give out this much. Usually it's just a little piece of it. Granny is being extra nice to Rika-chama.
僕だけこんなにいろいろお駄賃をもらうと他の人に悪い気がしますです。別に気にすることないんじゃない？お駄賃は好意みたいなもんなんだもん。変に断るよりは子供らしくありがとうって言って笑顔を見せる方がよっぽどいいと思うけどね。みーはお駄賃をよくもらいますですか？昔はね。でもさすがにこの年になったらもらわなくなったな。今もらうとなんだか子供扱いされてるみたいでかえってカチンとくるかな。僕は子供扱いなのです。いいじゃんいいじゃん。もらえるうちにもらっとけばいい。私くらいになれば欲しくてももらえなくなるんだからさ。
As we talked about ordinary things, I noticed Rika-chan seemed a little sad.
どうしたの？僕はお買い物に行ってもよくお駄賃に飴をもらいますが、さとこは一緒に行ってももらえませんです。
I can think of so many reasons why. Not only Satoko, but everyone in the Hojo family is being treated poorly in Hinamizawa. And the Sonozaki family are the ones who instigated that. The 2 dam supporters have died in an accident already. But the malice against the Hojo family is still going. It's directed against Satoko and Satoshi, their children, the aunt and uncle who are taking care of them. The big fight between the Hojo family and the Sonozaki family at the explanatory meeting started all this. But that was the Hojo couple, and it shouldn't have anything to do with the children and their aunt or uncle. But the idea that the Hojo family are traitors evolved on its own. Therefore, anyone bearing the Hojo name is to be treated poorly. The aunt and uncle weren't dam supporters, so over time the attacks towards them should have stopped, but they're rather odd. And they keep having trouble with their neighbors. They don't follow the community rules, they don't do the community duties, and they don't spray pesticide while their neighbor's laundry is still hanging outside. They spray pesticide. And they often get into fights with the other villagers. They'd be hated even without the dam. Therefore, the Hojo family continues to be treated poorly. But none of that should have anything to do with Satoko and Satoshi. Satoko and Satoshi are often depressed at school. I tried to leave the conflict between the two families aside, but I wonder how they really feel about that. From their point of view, I'm just another member of the family that keeps harassing them.
せめて学校にはそんな雰囲気を持ち込ませたくない。だから私はそういう風に振る舞ってるつもりだよ。
それを学校の中だけでなく外にも広げるにはどうしたらいいのですか？
That'd be pretty difficult. The Hojo family made enemies of the three families. They were branded as traitors, and that's still considered the truth. It wouldn't mean anything if one person suggested an end to the hostilities, just because the events around the dam are history now. On the contrary, that would just put them in the same position. Unfortunately for Satoko and Satoshi, the only thing they can do is wait, patiently, until the issue withers away. All I can do for them is provide an oasis until that day comes.
では、聡子たちはいつまで耐え忍べばいいのですか？
わかんない。ダム戦争は数年に及んだ。その時に押された烙印を払拭するんだから、それと同じ年数はかかるかもしれないね。
それはつまり、聡子たちが大人になるまで誰にも許してもらえないということですか？聡子が子供のうちはずっと村中から冷たい目で見られていろということですか？
それはあまりにも辛いね。
みー、僕たちは聡子やサトシの仲間なのですよね。
そうだよ。私にとってだって二人は友達だよ。仲間だよ。
なら僕たちの仲間を救うために僕たちに何かできることはないのでしょうか？
私たちに何ができるんだろうね。
Even if the Sonozaki family declares that the dam conflict is over, the Hojo family are no longer outcasts, that won't solve the problem. It's not that simple. In the first place, Granny hates the Hojo family and won't suffer their name to be mentioned in her presence. It's not a matter of someone forgiving another. It's a matter of very complicated ties between the people in this village. It's absolutely terrifying to have them as your enemies. Everyone knows that very well, and that's why they maintain good relationships with their neighbors. However, if you make enemies out of them, you'll have to face the consequences. That's the unwritten law of the Japanese community. And the Sonozaki family is part of this unwritten law. Now that the Hojo family are outcasts, not even the Sonozaki family can overturn the situation.
ひなみ沢のことはひなみ沢の人間にはどうしようもないということなのでしょうか？
悲しいけど、そういうこともあるかもしれない。もし聡子を救う人が現れてくれるとしたら、それは村のしがらみにとらわれない、そういう人なんだろうね。でもそんな人
Just wait until Keiichi arrives.
村の外から誰かが助けに来なければ救われないということですか？
Like Rika-chan says, would a knight in shining armor from the outside world ever come here? Would that person bring in a new wind to this village that has been filled with a stale air for hundreds of years? No way. That's just wishful thinking. Time will solve the problem someday. Till then, I have to be their ally. I can't think of anything else I can do for them. As Rika-chan and I crunched on our rock candy, we can only pray that people will forgive Satoko and her family sooner, rather than later. Rika-chan gently broke the heavy silence.
きっと村の外からしがらみにとらわれない人がやってきます。そうだね。ダム戦争も終わったんだから、また分譲地に外から人が引っ越してきてくれるといいね。近い年の転校生とか来れば楽しいだろうに。来ます。きっと。そして彼と力を合わせて私たちは村の悪兵を打ち破るのです。それが私たちの未来を閉ざす3つの錠前に対する。え？何それ？
The first key to one of the 3 locks? Oh, I guess the 3 things they've talked about. Yeah, okay. Rika-chan says some odd things sometimes. When she talks that way, she seems so mature. I even start to doubt she's really younger than I am. Hello, Diana! The unreasonable antagonism towards the Hojo family. Will there really be someone from the outside world who will shatter our old traditions? Yeah. He's a bit odd, but he's on the way. Okay, so there's watermelon and rock candy we got there. So let's look through. Watermelon from the Sonozaki family is required. So we have the watermelon, but we don't have the Ryugu's family move. Fourth Year's Curse, nope. And then we're all sea urchin, vitamin A, big teddy bear, nope. Satoshi's part-time job, rock candy as a treat. Satoko Hojo's detailed test results, we still don't have that. Then the Ryugu Sins. Introduction of Satoko Hojo, still not that yet. Hiro Tomitake's promise is required. No wine as well. Death of the dam construction site, nope. Miko Furuda's high fever, nope. Misha's sick medicine, nope, nope. Repetitive apologies. I don't know what repetitive apologies would be. How many have you done? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. I've done 11. Let's see. Okay, so I think I can't continue on here for now. I need to just do Satoko's introduction now, because I think that's what I'm missing currently. We do know that the deaths have happened, but Satoshi's not aware of his sins. We've like barely got Satoshi. So let's do Satoko Hojo. My name is Satoko Hojo. How's your day, Diana? But Hojo is my current father's family name. As also Satoko Hatake, Satoko Yoshizawa, and also Satoko Matsura, because of my previous fathers. I'm still not used to be called Satoko Hojo-san. If someone calls me Satoko, then I know that person's talking to me. Because Satoko is the name I've been using since I was born. I don't understand why my mother keeps getting married and divorced. If she's gonna get a divorce, why does she get married? If she's married, why does she get a divorce? I've asked her before, but depending on the situation, her answers were different. When I asked her when she was married, she got angry. When I asked her after she got divorced, she cried. I don't understand the meaning of marriage, so I have no interest in drawing pictures of a bride in a wedding dress. I don't think I'll ever get married. I don't want to keep changing my child's last name. My teacher once asked me if I liked my mother. I think it was when I was in kindergarten in Okinomiya. That was a very difficult question. Because sometimes I loved her very much, and sometimes I hated her very much, but I couldn't decide. When my mother was nice, she smiled all the time. She made us happy. She thanked me for being her daughter. When my mother was nice, she frowned all the time. She treated my brother and me very poorly. She told me I should have never been born. My teacher asked me if I liked my father. That was a very easy question, because I always hated him very much, no matter who he was. The new fathers always treated me nicely at first, as if I was their real daughter. They always told me I could think of them as my real father. But they couldn't be my real father. Besides, I didn't even know my real father's face. How could I call them my father? I couldn't. That was disgusting. Right before the divorce, my fathers always became very irritated with me. They treated me like a cockroach. They told me they didn't have money to feed me, they threw things at me, and they locked me out on the veranda. I was told I could forget about them because that was all in the past. I think that was a different teacher from a different school. Maybe that's true, because ever since Hojo became my father, my mother has been smiling. I haven't seen them get into a fight as I've seen happen just before a divorce. They have little arguments here and there, but those don't lead to a divorce, and they always make up. But I'm sure they'll get a divorce sooner or later. Then it'll be the same old stuff with the family court, divorce settlements, a night flight, and child support. So who knows how long this Hojo will be my father. That's why I don't even feel like calling him that. He also treated me well at first, but when I didn't call him father, even after he asked me repeatedly, he became irritated. They'll get a divorce soon. When our father gets into this mood, a divorce is on the way. After a divorce, it's my mother's turn to be irritated with me. And she'll tell me she shouldn't have had me or she can't be happy because of me. Why is my existence causing problems for my mother? I asked my brother and he told me. If you have children, it's not easy to find someone to get married with. My mother, remarriage is a very important job, so I can understand having children around will cause problems. I think I finally understand the reason why I'm a nuisance to her. I asked my brother something else. Why are children hated by new fathers? Well, that's simple. That's because family members all have different rules. A mother's job is to love her children. A father's job is to love the mother. That means that I'm a nuisance to both my mother and father. My brother is more mature than me, so that... Oh, her text is turning red. My brother is more mature than me, so they look down at him as a nuisance. But maybe I am... No. I definitely am a nuisance. So now I know. Both my mother and father want me dead. If they kill me, they'll be caught. But that doesn't mean they won't kill me. If I were to look down the cliff, and if no one was around, my mother and father would push me off for sure. My father has become abnormally nice to me recently. He started to act that way ever since I made the fake call. I know for sure that it's just part of a plot to kill me. So I won't let them trick me. I'm sorry, I'm sorry, I'm sorry, I'm sorry. Lately, when I've listened very carefully, I can hear a voice apologizing. The voice sounds so similar to mine. Her mother must be telling her that she shouldn't have been born. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. But I won't apologize like that. I'll live. I'm gonna strike back. I'll kill before I get killed. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. Okay. Well, there's Satoko. His introduction. There's her self-introduction, and we can now go towards the other thing that I saw earlier. Which was... a preview of lots for sale. Interesting. Satoshi Hojo's awareness of sins, the figures of Rena Ryugu's sins, rock candy as a treat. Okay, Satoko's test results not coming back. Conflict between the Hojo family. Self-introduction of Satoko. There we go. We can do this one now. The Hojo family is well known for going against the whole village during the dam conflict. Both the husband and the wife were rather aggressive, and they fought a fierce battle, especially against the Sonozaki family. Although the whole village treated them coldly, the husband and wife didn't really care and kept on fighting. In a way, they were extremely strong-willed people. I'm sure their children had to go through a lot because of them, though. Satoko-chan and Satoshi-kun were treated coldly by the villagers as well. In addition to that, Satoko-chan and her stepfather didn't get along, so their stress level must have reached their limit. Because I'm the director of a local clinic, a rather respected member of society, people usually tell me a lot of things. So I was aware of the treatment they were receiving even before I met them. I met Satoshi-kun first. Satoshi-kun came to the clinic because he felt ill from too much stress. He must have thought he had a cold. When I examined him, he even told me that. Hearing his repeated sighs and seeing by the exhausted look in his eyes, I knew right away it wasn't just a simple cold. Medication would heal his symptoms, but that'd only be a temporary measure. The only way to truly cure him would be to change his living environment. That was easier said than done. He was surrounded by tangled and complicated relationships with the village and his family. Just resting for a few days and taking some medication wouldn't do. Time was the only thing that could ease off the cold treatment from the villagers. We were talking a very, very long time. That's why I felt I had to be their first ally in this village, so I could rescue them. I couldn't do anything about his stressful environment, but I could try to diminish the anxiety. I thought the best way was to teach him how to vent his stress, and playing sports is the best way to do that. So I asked him to join the junior baseball team that I coach. As a researcher, I devote most of my time to Higurashi syndrome, but I too need something else to relax. I used to play baseball, so I decided to coach the local kids team. After a while, the children of Hinamizawa started their own baseball team, and somehow I became their coach. Doctors can't provide health just by giving medication. You need a sound mind and a sound body. I believe health can be maintained through sports as well, but our team needed more people, so I thought of asking Satoshi-kun to join. Being a bookworm, Satoshi-kun wasn't interested in playing sports. He wasn't sure of how joining the baseball team would help his situation. I didn't need to go on and on about athletic medicine to explain why sports help people become healthy. I just wanted him to experience it himself, to realize how great it feels to play sports. I think he realized it gradually. He was reluctant until the very end, but he attended all of the team activities and games. As I saw Satoshi-kun slowly regain his liveliness, I realized my plan worked. However, if Satoshi-kun was under that much stress, then Satoko-chan, who lived in the same family climate, must have felt the same way. Unfortunately, I didn't think of her back then. So when Satoko-chan was carried into my clinic as a patient, I regretted doing nothing about her, even while knowing the situation. As Satoshi-kun recovered under my guidance, Satoko-chan was left alone in her stressful environment. Also around that time, there was an incident bad enough to make Satoko-chan collapse. What do you say ugh to, Diana? That was of course her parents' deaths. The day of the Watanagashi festival was a very uncomfortable time for the Hojo family because although it was a village festival, it was also a day to celebrate victory over the dam construction project. It's understandable they would plan a family trip around that time so they could leave the village. Umi is so confusing. Did you start episode 8? Satoko-chan's parents fell off the cliff at the park they were visiting. It happened on such an unlucky day. Because it happened on the day of the Watanagashi, people say it was the curse of Oyashiro-sama. And people labeled the Hojo family as one that was cursed by Oyashiro-sama. The parents were given the cold shoulder by everyone in the village. With their parents gone, Satoshi and Satoko should have been freed from that, but... I haven't? What makes you, like, just bring it up then? Unfortunately, the accident happened on the day of the Watanagashi. That's why the members of the Hojo family continue to be shunned. Satoko-chan was the only one who was at the site of the accident. Satoshi-kun didn't go on the trip because he had an event with the baseball team. Therefore, the police mainly interrogated her. Detective Oishi suspected an act of organized crime by the village, so with Satoko as the only witness on site, he drilled her with questions. She was as stressed as Satoshi-kun, perhaps even more, so of course she couldn't take it. During the interrogation, she began to wheeze and gasp for air. Because I'm looking at Higurashi right now. Well, I don't know if he did it earlier in the day. That's fair. But, like, would you say it's more confusing than Higurashi? During the interrogation, she began to wheeze and gasp for air. The anguished look I saw on Satoko-chan's face when she carried into the clinic was very, very tragic. It broke my heart just to imagine what she had to go through. Yeah, okay. That's why, though. Okay.
ええ、安心してください。一時的に混乱してしまっただけですよ。
でも大丈夫ですか？
やっと薬でぐっすり眠れたところです。できれば起こさないであげたいところです。しばらくゆっくり休ませてあげましょう。様子を見て数日入院させてあげるのもいいかもしれません。
From my point of view, it's absurdly hard to argue it isn't harder. Like, harder to understand or just harder to figure out or what
大
exactly?
丈夫。私に任せてください。
ありがとうございます。
I know Satoshi-kun is a great big brother to who truly cares about his sister. He empathizes deeply with her. In other words, Satoshi-kun's worries and stress were reflecting Satoko-chan herself. Maybe I shouldn't say this, but while Satoshi-kun was of course sad about his parents' deaths, he may at the same time have been a little relieved that they were gone. Most things, okay. His sister wouldn't have to be driven into a corner anymore. Unlike Satoshi-kun, Satoko-chan didn't have the social skills to get along with her stepfather. So putting her mother aside, I was certain that losing her father, the greatest cause of stress in her life, would bring great change to her home environment. But I couldn't believe what happened next. The two were sent to live in an even worse environment with their aunt and uncle. I don't believe it'll give objective answers to everything. Okay. Although at that time I was rather optimistic, thinking this new environment would be better for the siblings. Okay, so Satoko was brought into the clinic. That is something new. So if I go all the way to the start, right, there should be stuff here. So the red capsule should be here now, right? Because the third curse happened. What do you mean it can't be connected yet? We've seen the curse has happened. They've talked about it. Okay. Oh, wait, no, third year? No, it was... second year? I can't remember. The death of the construction site manager. We don't have Satoko's detailed test results yet. No dissection yet. Repetitive apologies. No refusal at the clinic yet. Declaration of war from Kurao Oishi. A bat to beat her to death. No. None of these. Completion of medicine. Rika hasn't had a high fever yet, so no. Just to say, go into Umi trying to solve it. If you don't think too hard about it, just expect it, And just expect you'll eventually be disappointed. I'm not sure I would enjoy Umineko that much then, if that's how it's gonna be. Satsuko Hojo's detailed test results is required. Wait, what is this one? Raw candy. We don't have our test results then. Awareness of his sins is required. A red capsule, so no red capsule, because the red capsule is going to be here. Higurashi is basically... Yeah, I know, it is telling you everything. But that's what I mean, like, if... I'm not sure I would enjoy Umineko if, like, I don't get any answers. I don't like the idea of having to go outside and having to do other stuff. Like, I like things to be self-contained. Yosuke Iida's decision is required. We don't have any detailed... The only thing I know is this one. Your fragment can't be connected yet. What am I missing? Minkiri must be willing to participate. Death of Satoko Hojo's aunt is required. The aunt is not dead yet. That's what I mean. It's... You still, like... It is not solvable within, like the gate, or like, it will not... like, you have to do outside stuff to connect things together, to figure stuff out yourself. Repetitive apologies are required. What do they want? Sense of responsibility as a big brother. Okay, what if it's over here? The draft of emergency manual is required. A bottle of wine for a toast. Footsteps following Hojo Satoshi. What is this? We still don't have the detailed test results. We still don't have Urena's move. Footsteps following... What? I'm confused. What am I missing here? We don't have Rika having a high fever yet either. Rika does not have a high fever. Oh, has the medicine been completed? It might be completed. No, it's not. That doesn't make sense. No, of course it doesn't make sense. What killer wasps? What is your obsession with bees and wasps? We don't have, like, what? What am I missing? The death of the dam construction site manager. Is this one? No, dude, like, none of these make sense to me. Because, like, what is it? What about the Satoko one? I did the Satoko one here, right? This one over here, I couldn't do. Discontinue Satoko Hojo's dissection plan is required. They've not even talked about dissecting her. They're in your heart? Call 911. How'd they get in my heart? The death of Satoko Hojo's... No, like, it's none of these. Live specimen for research is required. We have no... Takano said she's gonna get a specimen, but we've never actually got that specimen yet. Just click randomly? Yeah, but I want my clicks to be meaningful. Like, I could click randomly, but it's like... Needed to be a reason, you know? Like, I don't know. Open wound. So I think I need to call 911 for a different reason then. If I have an open wound in my heart where wasps can enter. Like, I mean, obviously that's an issue, but I think there's a lot more of a, like, bigger issue if I have an open wound that exposes my heart. Okay, I mean, yeah, I'll see. I will see, Dina. The T-cell on this veranda being put away is required. You should know my about... It's not this one. It's Satoshi Hojo, like, whatever. Like, what is this? What? Too late, you flatlined. Well, that didn't seem like much time to react, huh? It's just like a roll of one here. Yeah, it's not this one. Rika Furude's high fever is required. I mean, like, I really have no clue anything about Umineko, so it's like, I cannot... Like, this multiverse thing, it would be impossible for me to get, so I'd have to see, like, how it's like, you know, in Umineko as well. If it's anything to do with multiverses and stuff like that again, I don't think I'm gonna be able to do anything with that. Okay, well, I guess I'm just gonna click, like, I don't get it. What do you need me to do? Being marked as an opportunist is required. Multiverse? You mean songs? No, like the multiverse of this game. The death of Satoko Ojazan. No. Multiverse the game? No, just multiverses in general. I, like, have the opinion, like, what is it? One of my, you know, friends have this opinion that, like, just multiverse stuff is just, like, makes, like, just stuff with multiverses makes everything just unfun. You know? Like, when Marvel started to do this stuff with multiverses, it's just unfun. Just, like, anything to do with multiverses, it just automatically just, it's like, dude, it's like you kill a lot of the interest in stuff. Completion of the medicine C117. Satoshi's Hojo's part-time job is required. Follow footsteps for, like, I don't get it. What have we, like, seen or not seen? Like, multi-versatile generals like the military. How many things are you gonna bring up, Indie Man? Ryuga family move is required. A watermelon from the Sonozaki family is required. Like, I don't know. I really don't know. Like, what could possibly... Oh, wait, I never checked any of these. Maybe Eishimaiwa changing school. Fragment from the Onikakushi. Chapters required. If I click this, does this do anything? No, okay. So I don't have any... Fragment from the Watanagashi chapter. Game board must be set up. Game board must be set up. So we don't have any of... Like, I really have no clue what it is that has to be done next. This fragment can't be connected yet. What can be connected? I'm so confused. What can be connected? Okay, I'm just gonna click everything, and then we'll see what we can do. This one, it definitely is not that one, because she hasn't died yet. Repetitive apologies. When did repetitive apologies? Oh! It was the Satoko one. Okay. Where it's just like, I'm sorry, I'm sorry, I'm sorry. Okay, I didn't realize that. Okay. That makes sense. Alrighty, let's take a break and do something else. What's that something else you want to do, Indie Man? Good luck connecting fragments. Yes. Well, I was doing really well, I would say, up until just now, where I couldn't find what to do. But yes, repeated apologies. That makes sense. What's the game you would be interested in, man? Yeah, how are you doing, Ruben? Haven't seen you in a while. Clang. A loud noise snapped everyone out of it. Someone dropped the shovel he was holding. The shovel was smeared with reddish-black blood. No, not just the shovel. All 6 construction workers' clothes were blood-soaked too. One of them cried out to the silent dead body of the manager, which was drenched in blood. You've been busy with fams on holiday. Nice! Hope you've been enjoying that. What have you been up to? The fight had started after the manager yelled at them for drinking beer inside the office. There are no drinking and no smoking signs everywhere. The manager harshly scolded anyone who broke that rule. So it was the 6 workers' fault for disobeying. What is this game here? Okay, you're so dumb, Indie Man. You're so dumb. Okay, whatever. That's why I said to provoke the manager. I told him to step out. And the others went along. Construction workers toiled hard and long hours. Smart enough to get you. No! Like, that, but like, what, did you get me? Like, what does getting me accomplish? That's why they're instigating the fight with the manager to relieve their stress. Just out doing activities? A smile. Yeah, okay. Well, I'm happy that made you happy. I'm mad now. Grr. That's me being mad. Did the shot over jet boat? What is the shot over jet boat? Shot over jet. Oh, damn! Wait, that's cool. That seems fun. They'd expected to just curse at each other or end up in a wrestling match, but things escalated. Or to put it more accurately, the manager exploded all of a sudden. The manager had to deal with the residents' protests as well. He was just under as much pressure, or maybe even more. It's quiet though, turn up your sound. Well, I'm just checking it out, right? Like, okay. Wow! 10 hours of air horn! Uh-huh! And how he changed was not normal. The manager was calm at first, but he gradually became more aggressive. And it was like he transformed into someone completely different. No, it was like he was possessed by something evil. Thank you for 10 hours of air horn, idiot. Like, what? Okay, I can't even say. I win again, Indy 2, Delaz. So how am I supposed to gain points in this? What do I do to gain? Because, like, the only way I see it, you are the only person that can gain points. Thanks, Indy, man. Oh my gosh. Trick you. I don't know if I'll be able to do that. Like, how? Like, you send me. You're not obligated, I guess, to click anything I send. The men who instigated the fight sobered up when they saw his behavior. Then, exactly. Oh, okay. Well, there we go. So I win. I guess so. You win by default, I guess. You can literally send nothing, and then you just win by default. How, like, how long is the ride, Ruben? Like, is it something, or, like, I'm not ride. Is it a ride? Is it kind of, like, yeah, how does it work exactly? Because, like, I've seen this before, but I don't know exactly how it works. Like, is it someone's driving the boat, or is it, like, you kind of just get sent down, like, a river, and then, like, you get caught at the end? Like, rafting type vibe. Managed to avoid the hit, but if he didn't, his head would have been surely split open. The manager kept pounding on him with the shovel, even as he frantically tried to avoid the hits. By this time, the workers had realized this was beyond a simple fight, so they tried to hold the manager down. The manager turned on them with the shovel too. One of the men tried to protect himself by crossing his arms above his head, but there's no way they could have blocked a shovel swung with such force. Blood spurted out and the man groaned in pain. By this time, the 6 men had realized the manager was not his usual self. This manager would try to bash in their brains without hesitation. Since their opponent was using a shovel as his weapon, they had to find some kind of weapon too. One of them grabbed a huge hammer. The others realized they need to find something as well. To restrain the manager in that condition, it was better to arm themselves. Okay, so after Satsuko, that's when the first murder happens. Okay. We've gotten some murders now, Indie Man. Don't worry. Yeah, someone driving the boat down the river stream around, doing some tricks against the rapid. Oh, okay. Didn't take long for the madness to infect the 6 workers. It was only a matter of time before they went from restraining to him to lynching him. By the time they realized what had happened, the manager was already a lump of meat. His face was swollen, shreds of skin had been torn off, and his muscles and skull were visible too. Obviously, he was quite dead. The leader of the 6, the one who instigated the fight, tried to bring the rest to his side, but nobody replied, and so the leader became frustrated. He was the one who started the fight. The rest simply joined in. He was the main perpetrator. Maybe that was why he was feeling so exasperated. Did you travel anywhere, Ruben, or is it just within where you're at? Like, just within nearby area near to you, or did you go anywhere? Sea of Stars. What is the Sea of Stars? Maybe that was why he was feeling so exasperated. He sensed that he was the one at fault.
いつまでもなよなよしてんじゃねえ。仕方ねえだろ。やっちまったもんは仕方ねえだろ。俺たちはな、もう殺人犯なんだよ。覚悟を決めるんだよ。まさかおめえら。
Yeah, we traveled into our south island. Cool, nice. That sounds really fun. Is it a more like touristy area or what exactly? Some of them knew he was on probation for an assault incident once before, so if he got into trouble with the law again, the punishment would be more severe than anything they could imagine. That's why he was trying desperately to find a way out. If he was alone with the manager's body, then he wouldn't have behaved this way. It's pretty much a tourist attraction area. Okay. All he would have to do was hide the manager's body and pretend nothing happened. Queenstown. Yeah, I see it's, what is it? When I searched up shot over a jet, I got, like, Queenstown was what I got. It was this thing. Not there. They're right here. So is it only in that area you have the shot over jet? I thought it would be, like, more of a company, but I guess it's, like, yeah, it's only that thing. Only in that area. But there were 6 of them, including him. They were partners in crime and witnesses, too. Even if one of them turned himself in out of guilt, he'd be in big trouble.
でも死体なんか隠したってバレる。それより正当防衛ってことでちゃんと主張して。
I agree.
その
They should plead self-defense.
情防衛くらいで勘弁してもらえねえかな。
甘ったれたこと言ってんじゃねえ。これだけズタボロに殺しちまってんだぞ。
I'm not sure, but it's quite the main attraction for Queenstown. Oh, okay, okay. Aren't his parents dead if he's an old dude?
でもよ、どう隠したって監督がいなくなったのは明日の朝にはバレちまうんだ。どうしようもねえよ。
どうしようもねえのはオンドレの頭じゃいボケ。
He slapped the other man in the face. The leader had such an evil look in his eyes.
いいかボケども、俺たちはな殺人犯なんだ。殺人犯。グズグズ言ってりゃ5年6年くらい込まれちまうんだよ。
We got through the Takano backstory section. I love the Hanyu confrontation. It was a very nice confrontation. Yes, it's a very good confrontation at the end. Yeah, I like it. The the war declaration.
全員が捕まっちまうんだよ。懲役をなめんな。どうせ捕まる覚悟だっちゅうんなら死ぬ気で逃げまくってやるんだ。年貢の納め時になったら好きなだけ覚悟を決めりゃいいんだ。
His visage turned more and more demonic. It was the same expression the manager had just a few minutes before. Was he possessed by the same thing that possessed the manager? The 5 men started to think that way. Now they considered it. All the villagers in the anti-dam protest had the same expression on their faces too. The real name of Hinamizawa was Onigafuchi village. People said that wicked demons lived there, and sometimes they possessed people. The men couldn't help but recall their exaggerated story, often told by the demonstrators. The manager swung the shovel after his expression changed to that demonic one. There was no guarantee this man wouldn't do the same. In fact, he was still squeezing the hammer in his hand, glaring at everyone and threatening them. If someone suggested it surrendering, he'd probably smash their head in with it.
そうだ。裏切り者を出さんためにな。いいことを思いついたわ。死体も隠しやすくなって一石二鳥だぞ。
どんな手だい？
Yeah, it's a very nice contrast. Like a very cool contrast, Ruben. I agree.
みんなで仲良くこの人数で割り算するんだ。
そりゃあ。
They all wanted to object to the idea. Killing him was a serious crime in itself. Dismembering the body would be too much. But if anyone objected, he'd be killed on the spot. So no one said anything.
全員でバラすんだ。この野郎が日頃言ってんだろ。共同作業だよ。全員共犯だ。それでバラした部品は各自が責任を持って隠すんだ。な。これなら全員仲良くしたんだろ。自分だけ罪が軽いから自首しようなんてずる抜けは許さねえってわけさ。
The 5 men were all taken in by his ghastly face, and they could even feel the fear of Onigafuchi demons creep up their backs. Okay, so that's the manager dead now. I can finally progress. It feels like everything kind of relied on this one. Okay. Declaration of War for Kurado Oishi. Shirakawa Park incident. What was the Shirakawa Park incident? I don't think we know that yet. Let's go to the beginning here. A tragedy at the dam construction site. Hospitalization of Satoko Hojo. There we go. Now we can do this one. Satoshi-kun is a good brother who takes great care of his sister. He went to visit Satoko-chan straight after school and kept encouraging her to get better every day. Without even hearing... So, Ruben, right now, what are you guys, like, doing? Because, you know, since you have downtime, are you guys just, like, in a hotel for now, or what exactly? Without even hearing Satoshi-kun's stories, it's obvious to me that Satoko-chan never had a good relationship with her step-parents. She especially didn't get along with her stepfather. Satoko-chan even called a child abuse hotline once. Not only that, her parents ended up dying in an accident, so she wasn't able to withstand all that damage. Why was the cat afraid of the tree? Because of its bark. Yeah, this is new. Okay. I just have to make sure I had the correct order for cards. Let's put this back. And then I will drink some water for you, mob. Satoko-chan is still very young, so everything must have been horrible for her to go through. Fortunately, she has a wonderful brother. Emotional wounds are hard to heal, but nothing heals those wounds better than love from a family member. I'm sure one day Satoko-chan will be able to smile again. She's still in shock, but when she talks to Satoshi-kun, she smiles a little bit. Oishi from the police department keeps requesting to see her. Excuse me, but I think I need to protect her just for a little bit longer. While he's passionate about his job, I wish he'd be a touch more sensitive. If he reminds her of her parents' accident, her emotional wounds will start to open again. That's the one point to worry about with Satoko-chan. I heard someone, excuse me, knocking on the door. It was Takano-san. It doesn't look right, wearing a nurse's uniform like that. She's a licensed doctor, so she should wear a white coat and act like one. Maybe this is fun for her, but I think she might be insulting the real nurses. I didn't see anything, though.
入江先生、ちょっとよろしいですか？
ああ、はい。それではサトシ君、私は失礼します。
はい。
サトシ君、こんにちは。さとこちゃんと遊んであげててね。ずっと一人でいるから、きっと寂しいと思うの。ね？
そんなことございませんわよ。
ではサトシ君、
Kind of very fitting in a meta way that it's only at the very end after Rika and Honey found the results become more active. Now we, the reader, are given gameplay with putting these fragments together. That's true, yeah. Very, very true. We are the... I mean, I don't even know what we are, but some entity that's like floating in the void. I got up and let Satoshi-kun take over.
ところで何かありました？
ここではなんですので、所長室で。
Takano-san smiled meaningfully. Usually smiles bring happy feelings. But when it comes to Takano-san, that's rarely the case.
それは本当です
I
か？
was very... I mean, as Diana said, it was literally like, gameplay jump scare. I was not expecting it at all, whatsoever.
ええ、簡易検査の結果、レベル3、彼女をさらに入院させ、より精度の高い結果待ちですが、私の見たところ、レベル4の可能性すらあり得るかと。
Takano-san's eyes sparkled in a weird way. There's a reason for that. For us, finding patients in the terminal stage is a valuable boon to our research. In fact, as a result of dissecting the murder's suspect from last year, we've made great progress in our research. In other words, we finally managed to isolate the pathogen. We also discovered that when the host dies, the pathogen melts away within a few hours. Once that happens, it's undetectable. That's why we never found the pathogen when we performed autopsies. Our research made a lot of progress after that. What we found in this past year has easily surpassed what the late Dr. Takano found in decades. We're now studying the nature, the effect, and the symptoms of the pathogen, as well as treatments and vaccines. In other words, a living specimen who's at the terminal stage is a necessity for our research. However, we rarely find a patient who's gone that far, who's reached L5. Hinamizawa syndrome once created huge numbers of L5 patients, but today it doesn't have such potency. They included us in that equation, that's true! You're definitely right. But I wonder, like, what our role is in this story. You know, like, who we are. Like, in the Higurashi universe. Because of that, we have to secure L5 patients, or patients who are close to reaching L5 as quickly as possible. Satoko-chan possibly qualifies to be the next sacrifice. To keep this strange disease a secret, we can't let patients who may be at L5 go. We have to run more tests first. Then we'll figure out what to do next. In any case, Satoko-chan seems so calm. Her behavior is nothing like the man from last year. Initial tests are in error sometimes. We'll have to wait for the results of more detailed tests to determine how serious her condition is.
わかりました。
経過観察のため入院ということにしましょう。スタッフの皆さんへの手配をお願いいたします。
That sounds like a formal answer, but if the results came back positive, that'll be the green light for her dissection. I don't know Satoko-chan that well, but I've known her brother, Satoshi-kun, through the baseball team for a long time. How could I dissect the apple of Satoshi-kun's eyes? I can feel scary images flashing in my head for the first time.
ご安心を万事すでに手配させておりますわ。
She smiled as if telling me that the dissection is already being prepared for, too. Is it just her who's smiling? Am I smiling like her, too? When I dissected that man last year, I did feel guilt beforehand. Once I started, it was like I was in paradise. All the pieces of the puzzle that were left by the late Dr. Takano fell into place. And at the same time, they didn't. How exciting it was. Knowing that we are the first ones to take the first steps to solve a mystery, that is. I don't even know how to explain this feeling to those who have never experienced it. There's no way to describe it with words. The only thing I can say is that even a year later, I still remember it vividly. I did like the music track that played when Child Takano gained the resolve to do whatever it takes to complete her. I mean, I like that. I like that entire thing with Child Takano and her backstory made her one of my favorite characters after that in this. It's really, like, I think she's really well done. So if the results show that Satoshi-kun's beloved sister is to be dissected, can I control myself? Can I stay calm? But that means I'm a failure of a human being. I know very well that the Hojo family was treated poorly by the villagers, and I know what Satoko-chan had to go through. Also, I know Satoshi-kun loves his sister, who is his only one and only blood relative. How can I dissect Satoko-chan using my research as an excuse? I didn't feel much guilt for the man last year, but I feel unbearable guilt towards Satoko-chan. That means what I did last year was very sinful. I don't care if a stranger dies, but I don't want Satoko-chan to die. That's not right. All lives are equally precious. I tried to convince myself that he was a violent murderer. But maybe he only became that way because he was at the terminal stage. I don't know anything about him before he became deranged. Maybe he was a model citizen who was worthy of respect. Unfortunately, he became ill and ended up doing what he did. Maybe he was a victim himself, just like my father. I know more about Hinamizawa syndrome than anybody. This disease makes people act in bizarre ways, without those people realizing it. So when the people at the terminal stage do strange and violent things, one should be sympathetic. What was the music track called again, though, Ruben? I already knew that back when I decided to go down this path. I should have remembered it sooner, but I only did just now. Finally realized what sinful research I'm working on. Satoko Hojo's detailed test results came back. The results say L5. She's at the terminal stage of the terminal stage. It's actually a surprising result. Last year's case, the patient was extremely deranged. According to Takano-san's records, he complained about itching coming from lymph nodes all over his body and wanted to claw at his throat, just as the late Dr. Takano mentioned. But Satoko-chan isn't displaying such symptoms. Even the late Takano's data Throat clawing is said to be a characteristic symptom of the terminal stage patients. However, not all patients experience that symptom. Besides, emotional expression is very different in each person. Even if it's the same emotion, one patient may express it rather violently, and another may express it calmly. There's no way of knowing just by looking at a person. But Satoko-chan's detailed test results say she's at the terminal stage of the terminal stage, L5. In other words, she may be feeling what that man from last year was feeling. Track is called You Destruct. Oh, yeah, because there's You, and then that one specifically was, You, but like Takano's version of it. Yeah, and it like set her down. I mean, yeah, destructive. Very fitting. I still really dislike Shion. I cannot like her as a character. It just feels that out of no... Like, Takano at least has meaning. And, she, like, everything she does has meaning towards it. Shion just feels like she does things because she feels like it. Which I don't like. In other words, she may be feeling what the man from last year was feeling. It's just like she isn't expressing that feeling in the same way that man was. Inomizuwa syndrome affects the frontal lobes of the brain. Stimulates the most primitive of emotions, doubt, very strongly. As a result, terminal patients are trapped in delusions and paranoia, and end up committing horrible crimes. Satoko-chan seemed to show improvement when she's exchanging friendly words with Satoshi-kun, but there's a paranoia stirring inside her that may put her in a deranged state at any moment. I can't let her leave the clinic like this. However, if things go according to the manual, I'll have to make a decision on her dissection. My decision will only be a formality. I can't actually refuse. Takano-san appears to be working on the dissection schedule. That plan will then come to me. Would I feel the same way? While dissecting Satoko-chan, would I be able to experience that trance once again? No, that question is, can I fight that temptation? As I pretend to question myself, I'm letting Takano-san prepare things on her own. By doing so, I'm passively agreeing to Satoko-chan's dissection. If possible, I want to save Satoko-chan. I don't want her to be a sacrifice for this research. I don't want to dissect her. And what about the man from last year? Do I only care about the lives of the people I know? If I don't dissect her, do I let her live and leave the clinic? Do I simply wait for her to become deranged and commit a horrible crime? Then she'll end up here, just like the man from last year. And I'll end up dissecting her anyway. The man from last year was dissected alive and kept that way for several months. With his skull left open. This is the thing that I would say frustrates me the most about Higurashi. How many times has EDA said this, dude? Like, we get the point. Don't want to do that to her. I don't know what to do. Even debating and agonizing over it is leading towards consent to her dissection by elimination. Thank you. Okay. But we have now revealed that live specimens required for research tragedy at the dam construction site. Higurashi's narrator is saying the exact same thing. One of the characters just... Ugh. The explain gif. Exactly. H170. This fragment... Really? Wait, how? I guess he just wants to stop dissecting her? The third sacrifice. 30S curse is required. This research is going well. Oh no, because dissection. Ah, never mind. It has to be one of these. Okay, it was that. I was thinking it'd be that. I don't know why I didn't click it, though. I was half asleep, so I didn't even hear the phone ringing nearby. Because she's still quite young, she's that time bomb waiting to explode, so she attaches herself to anything that gives herself meaning, regardless. But the thing is, Takano was younger than Shion, and yet her idea was, oh yeah, you know, I'm just gonna lock into school and then make it through. And then it's like, oh yeah, I'll have friends because I need to have, what is it? I need to have people to... I need a strong social ring. Like, just having grades isn't enough. I need to have good social connections as well. Like, and everything. Her, like, that entire sequence of her building up and throughout her years that was just so well done. And I could just understand the entirety of Shion's character, like, not Shion, Takano's character. It was so well done. Shion is just like, but that's what I'm saying. Takano dealt with the circumstances very well. Shion did not. I don't think so. And I don't think that, like, because she just does things because. She doesn't have any reasons behind what she does. And because of that, I don't like her as a character. Because she just does things on impulse. After a while, I finally realized the phone was ringing. And a ringing phone means that there's some kind of emergency. It's 2 in the morning. Who would even call me at this time of night?
もしもし、入江です。
お休みのところ申し訳ございませんわ、入江所長。
It's Takano-san. She's never called me for a personal reason. At the institute, she's ranked just below me, so she's basically responsible for running it. For her to call me at least late at night, it must be an emergency.
遅くなりました。末期患者が出たというのは本当ですか？
ええ、生きた検体が欲しいと思っていたら本当に運よく。
I initially thought that she'd abducted someone. The man had already been moved to the research area in the clinic's basement. Having been tied out to the examination table, he's struggling against his restraints, but more as though he's deranged than actually resisting. I can't even understand what he's saying. He sounds angry, sorrowful. The biggest flaw is I agree. No. I think the biggest thing with, like, because it makes it very difficult to stay, like, the way I see it. It's meant to be a mystery, right? And in mystery, every single line matters. Every single line. So you're supposed to be honed in, focusing on every single line. But how can I focus on every single line if you're going to repeat the same thing many times over? Right? Like, I'm going to get fatigued, and I can't focus on every single line. And it, like, it draws things out way longer than it should be, I feel. I think it's mostly jealousy. That's the core of her character. Yeah, I mean, that's true. I think jealousy is the core of her character. But that's what I mean. She doesn't think, like, I don't like her character because she doesn't think about, like, if she stood and stopped for a second and thought about things, a lot of the things she would do, like, would not make sense in her head. Like she would be able to reason things out. But she chooses not to. And that's why I don't like her character. Because she, I mean, yeah, she's too impulsive. Like, that's the best thing I can think of. It's obvious that he's not in the right state of mind.
麻酔で眠らせましょう。このままでは自分の舌を飲み込んで窒息しかねません。
もう少し状態を観察したかったのですけれど、仕方ありませんわね。
One of the staff with a white gown got the anesthesia ready. Even a normal person would struggle to escape a restraining table in this suspicious room. This man's behavior is at an abnormal level. Like, when I just started, right, chapter 1 for Higurashi, it was like something that, you know, I kind of just brushed over. But as I get more and more into, like, the chapters, like, it's, you know, and as I'm at the end here, last chapter, it's something that really stands out to me and really frustrates me anytime, like, I start, like, to see it. This man's behavior is at an abnormal level. I'm sure Okonogi-san and his friends from the Mountain Dogs are the ones who captured him. Capturing a man in this state of mind couldn't have been an easy task. If Shion was diagnosed as an antisocial personality, I wouldn't be surprised, because sociopaths are usually impulsive and lack empathy for others. Yeah. I think that's fair. That's fair, Ruben. According to Takano, she ran into this patient on her way home from the clinic by accident. She brought him back here, tested him, and the results came back positive. Of course, I have no intention of just believing what she's telling me. There's no question that this man is at the terminal stage, and a live specimen is exactly what we need to research the syndrome.
一体この男は何者です？
あの男が持っていた新聞の包み、中に何が
Just wait, I
入っ
am
ていた
completely
と思い
sweating. I
ま
need
す
to turn my fan towards you. Okay, yo.
これは何です？
There's something wrapped in a bloody newspaper on a tray nearby. Looking at the blood-drenched paper, I can only imagine there's something gruesome inside of it. Yeah, Takano looked like she wanted to surprise you with something interesting.
これはひどい。
It's a bloody right arm. The man on the table still has his. This right arm doesn't belong to him. So who does it belong to? I'm used to looking at things like this as a doctor, but the horrible cross-section makes me want to look away. It wasn't done according to a medically accepted method, that's for sure. It was obviously done out of cruelty.
状況から考えて、この男が切り取ったものと考えていいでしょうね。
It's yours? You just How did your arm get brought here, Diane? You know, that's what I want to know.
つまり彼は近隣で起こった何らかの死体遺棄事件の犯人ということですね。
At that point, there's no way of knowing who the right arm belonged to. But the next moment, excuse me. But the next morning, the dismemberment murder of the damn construction site director was reported. And they mentioned that his right arm was still missing. So we learned who the arm belonged to.
この男、前科者だそうで、しかもその上、執行猶予期間中だとか。
With Higurashi, I can never tell whether something is intentional repetition or padding out. I can understand it if Yukishi's intention was to narrate the story by as close as possible to how a person's thought process works. Like, as I said, I didn't mind it early on, right? Like, you know, it's just like, I just saw it as the style. But as I go more and more and more into it, it just feels like, I know it probably wasn't his intention, right? But it just feels like he's just padding time, you know? It's like, dude, we've heard it so many times, you know? Because, like, early on, it's like you're finding new information, right? So it's like, it makes sense for it to be repeated. But when it's like, you've heard this for 7 chapters straight, and you're hearing the information repeated like 5 times in a row again, it's like, okay, we get it.
にもかかわらず、また罪を犯してしまうなんて。それで、殺人の発覚を恐れて、遺体を隠そうと思ったのでしょうね。
That's why a common joke or criticism of Yukishi, he needed an editor. I don't know if he did or not. I mean, it's still a very like you know, it's still a very like, you know, yeah, an editor probably would do justice to make sure like he gets his story out very like detailed, because he has very good details. Oh, he had an editor? Okay, that's funny. Huh, I wonder why. Maybe it makes more sense in Japanese then. Maybe like in English it doesn't translate as well. If I were to guess, maybe? I don't know.
入江所長もこんな社会のクズが相手なら解剖に躊躇はないのでは？
社会のクズがさらに犯罪を重ね、さらにその上、ひなみ沢症候群で凶暴化したのか。それとも前科を悔いる善良な小市民がひなみ沢症候群で凶暴化して罪を犯したのか。前者ならともかく、後者ならば彼には何の罪もありませんよ。
Was editor die when Umineko questions arc ended? Oh. So he didn't have an editor for answers? Maybe it's just a visual novel thing. I mean, at least personally, for Danganronpa, I didn't feel any pacing issues. but maybe that's just one that I had. And then I read another visual novel that I did want to revisit at some point. That I didn't feel any. I don't think Katawa Shoujo had pacing problems. I don't think like what was it? There's this other visual novel called Valhalla I read. That was, I didn't think had any pacing problems. I don't know, but I guess they're not typical. Those others ones that I mentioned, maybe not typical visual novels. We can't tell if this syndrome is the cause of that crime, or if it's simply a problem of human nature. For really long visual novels, it seems to end up that way. Well, I guess we are reading, you know, the longest visual novel, you know, this one and Umi, so that probably would be the case. Maybe that's a virtue of it. Exactly, yeah, maybe that's a virtue of it being long in the first place. What causes a defect of human nature in the first place? Oh, in the first place, Daine, you like are mentally connected with the story. Was precisely Idea's area of research. Hit the crime, not the criminal. Can criminals only be corrected by punishing them with imprisonment? A person commits a crime because of a mental disorder, then gets treatment, he is corrected. In other words, there are no crimes in this world, only patients awaiting treatment without anyone else being able to understand them. In medieval times, patients with mental disorders were said to be possessed by demons, and they were either confined or killed. Centuries after, they were finally acknowledged as mentally ill people who needed treatment. Perception can change with time. Even if they are called criminals now, maybe after several centuries, those criminals will be acknowledged as patients who are entitled to appropriate treatment. Explaining crimes through illness instead of malice. That's my life's work. Hinamizawa syndrome is a strange disease that can only support my theory. Solving its mysteries is extremely important to me. To solve those mysteries, I need a medical sacrifice. It's an extremely sinful thing to do, but there's no way to unravel this without it. The Idia Institute was authorized to take such drastic measures if necessary. That's why I was asked about it so many times when I accepted the position of director. And finally, the opportunity is here. This will be the first step of our research on this strange disease. But even now, I'm a little hesitant. I've opened up human bodies in many surgeries. What I'll be doing on this man is something very similar. But there's also something that's very different. What I did before was part of treatment. I did it to save the patient's lives. I did it so the patients can have a better future. What I'm trying to do here isn't treatment. You will die at the end of it. His death will be far from humane. I'm going to violate nature and force him to stay alive, while I open up his living brain.
入江所長、聞いてらっしゃいます？
もう一度お願いします。
解剖計画書を提出し、東京に応援を要請した方が良いかと思います。何しろ、単に生きてるだけでなく、末期症状を起こしている大変貴重な検体です。
That's how I felt as well, Ruben. You know, it's like, I definitely empathize with her, but, you knowing what she does, it's like, I feel like she had good intentions, but somewhere along the way it was completely corrupted. And she got very, not conceited, I don't think is the right word. I mean, like, literally, she sees herself as a god, you know? And like that word, like those words from her grandfather, like, oh, you'll become a god, that went to her head. And she now takes it literally.
そこで麻酔を解いていくつかの反応実験をしてみたいのですが。
危険ではありませんか？たとえ拘束を解かなくても何が起こるかわかりませんよ。
ようやく手に入った生きのいい検体なんですもの。ただ脳を覗くだけじゃ。
So, I don't know if it's been understood yet, right? Or been explained, and I just missed it or something. Why, in Chapter 3, when Keiichi supposedly killed the uncle and buried him, and then Oishi dug the uncle back up, he wasn't there. What exactly happened? Or is this going to be explained later? Maybe her reaction is normal. Maybe I'm the one who's not reacting normally in this situation. I'm only here for the research. So I should be excited to have the opportunity to perform our first live dissection. Chapter 6 kind of implied what happened there. What was it again in Chapter 6? Oh, that the Sonozaki family came in? But how did they know where Keiichi dug, like... Yeah. How did they know where Keiichi, like, dug him in the first place? How can I call myself? Because before it was like... Oh, like Mion, like everyone knew where the dig site was. That's why all the classmates said Keiichi was at the festival as an alibi. Okay. Researchers of the past were brave enough to cross the line, and that's how they accomplished many things. I've seen many brains, I've operated on them. I've lost some patience too, but I never thought anything of it because I knew I did the right thing. Even when my hard work was denied afterwards. If it paid me to think of that, then I just needed to advance the field of medicine to ensure their deaths weren't wasted. That's the true form of those advancing the field of medicine. Yet, why was my heart... Mion figured Keiichi was going to kill Teppei because his phone call was the exact same as Satoshi's the year before. That makes sense. Yeah, I understood that Mion understood. But I just... Because, like, Keiichi was always talking about how nobody... Like, he looked around, there was nobody around that knew... That saw him, like, where he buried Teppei and everything. So how did... Like, I'm just confused how they knew where he buried him, you know? Yet why is my heart tormented so much just by changing the name from treatment to dissection? Does it mean I'm not man enough to emulate those great men of the past who opened the doors to new medicine? That makes sense. So then afterwards, do we know what happened to Satoko? Because like at the very end, right, where it shows all the credits, it says that that the Teppei is missing, and okay, oh yeah, there's also the other thing. Satoko was like, oh, my uncle came back. Was that an alibi as well? Yeah, so that's two things I'm still like, I mean, maybe you guys know, but I don't know. Is that where did Satoko afterwards, because she's missing at the very end when everyone's like, they're listing off all the deaths? And also, Satoko was freaking out that like, oh, my uncle did come back, and then she started crying and everything. Satoko wasn't getting her Hinamizawa syndrome medication. Okay, that makes sense.
あら、どうなさいましたの、所長。お休みのところを無理に起こしてしまったので、ご気分が優れませんのかしら?
Takano's pretending to be concerned about me, but she knows. She knows I'm still hesitating. And she's telling me that I should be ashamed as a researcher for feeling that way. I shook my head to clear it of sleepiness. Remember the resolve that brought me here to this day. I already have blood on my hands. But if I stop now, their lives will be wasted. Those who shed their blood can only rest in peace once they become the cornerstones of great research. I shook my head once more and reminded myself that I am a researcher.
考え事をしていただけです。高野さんは東京との調整をお願いいたします。日程が決まりましたら教えてください。
ええ、了解いたしましたわ。眠気も吹っ飛んでしまいますわね。
Okay, so she wasn't getting her Hinamizawa syndrome medication, right? Why was she... So, is she, like, hallucinating seeing him there? And him, like, telling her what to do? Is that, like, what her Hinamizawa syndrome is? The least I can do is my best, so his life won't be wasted. If he bleeds, I can't waste even a drop of his blood. After scolding my staff for... Yeah, okay. For their indiscretion of discussing the dissection with such excitement, I returned to my office. Contrast between Idia's eternal conflict of morality and Takano's complete disregard of medical ethics and morals. Well, yeah, she disregarded her ethics and morals a long time ago, after seeing what happened with her grandfather. Hallucinate whenever your lunatic mind cooks up, okay. Okay, it has to be this now. How? How? They literally talked. I don't understand. They've literally talked about Satoko not being dissected. Why does this one not work? And we already know Idia's motive to become a doctor. We heard about his past. How does this not... I don't understand how this is not it yet. Yosuke, Idia's decision is required. I don't know, decision for what? We definitely have the first part. I don't know about Idia's decision, though. Idia's curse of Yashiro-sama. No. His father being marked as an opportunist. Because no. King Carrie must be willing to participate. The dissection didn't happen yet. It's going to happen, so it's not this one, right? Oh no, okay. It is.
フルデさん、お待たせしました。今、最後の検査を終えたところです。もうすぐ戻ってくると思います。
娘が村のために役に立てばいいのですが。
とんでもない。リカさんの協力は村を救うことにもなります。おかげでようやく治療方法にも目処がついてきたところです。仕組みはまだ調べているところですが、リカさんの存在がやはり村人にとってとても大切なものであることが分かってきました。レベルの進んでしまった一般感染者は自力ではそのレベルを下げて症状を安定させるのが非常に困難です。
So, okay. For chapter, once again, I'm just thinking back, because like chapter 3 is the one that stands out to me the most. If Irie didn't, if we didn't find Irie, committed suicide or whatever, would Satoko have gotten her medicine there and then been completely fine? We all would have been happy, but then it's, I guess we all would have been happy until Takano killed the entire village.
ですが、女王感染者に接近することで、脳内にある種の物質が作られることが分かっています。その物質には鎮静効果があり、また進んでしまった症状のレベルを抑え、回復させる力もあるようなのです。この物質を処方できるようになれば、治療の強力な決め手となるでしょう。
そうですか。理科にそのような力が。
I'm not sure. She probably won't have access to her medication because Teppei was keeping her locked at home. Well, no, that's what I'm saying. Because at the end of chapter 3, right, Keiichi finds her in the bathtub, and then he's trying to bring her to the doctor, right, to the hospital, and then he sees police officers there, and then he's just he walks walks to the window, and then sees Irie sitting there with sleeping pills or whatever, he died.
驚かれるには値しないのでは。フルデの巫女には荒れた心、鬼を鎮める神通力があると代々伝えられているんではありませんでしたっけ。私たちが解明しなくても村の数百年にわたる歴史はすでにそれを知っていたわけですわ。
そうですね。大昔の方の聡明さは時に現代医学から見ても感心させられます。
What are you staring at, Diana? Also, okay, this is another thing I guess I'm kind of confused with the timeline. I remember Hanyu saying that, oh yeah, we can only go back 2 weeks at most, right? But, somehow we have determined Rika that's all the way back here, years ago. To, determined Rika to, not just wait and see, but to actually try to do stuff. But I don't know if that's Rika from, past Rika that has gone through a couple, how do you say, a couple regressions, or if this is meant to be present day Rika that has gone through a billion regressions,
Rika, 大変だったな。疲れただろ。これで自動販売機でジュースを買ってきなさい。
血をいっぱい抜かれたから補給なのです。
These pre-existing fragments, we're just peering them as meta beings or whatever, just not traveling. But then what is they saying about connecting things up, right? Because we're peering into it, but they say that we need to connect things up as well, right? Rika took the 100 yen coin that was offered to her and ran onto the
本当
hallway.
にリカさんの協力のおかげです。彼女が献身的に協力に応じてくれなければ、これほどまでに研究が進むことはありませんでした。
リカは自分の友達もその病気にかかっているということを気にしていて、友達のためにも協力したいと 常に言っていました。どうか先生方、理科の心意気を汲んでやってく
Like
ださい。
piecing together a broken cup. Okay.
もちろんです。毎週日曜日に貴重な時間を割いていただいているのです。必ずや成果にしてみせます。今後もリカさんに過酷な実験を強いることがあると思いますが、どうかお許しいただければと思います。
彼女に危害を加えることは絶対に
You're
あり
just
ません
complete.
わ。
Okay, but okay, so why does Takano just suddenly betray Tomitake and Irie? I don't get, like, we're gonna have to see how this progression, because right now she wants both of them. She likes having both, like, maybe not likes them, right? But she's like, she needs them.
彼女はとてもとても大切な身なのです。何しろお社様の生まれ変わりなんですから。
大昔の村人はどのようにしてこの病気のことを知り、
Well, they didn't find out about a syndrome. They just talked about, like, stuff happening.
古出家にその女王の血が流れていることを知ったのやら。ご先祖様たちにはつくづく頭が下がります。
それで、実はまた辛いご協力をお願いしなくてはなりません。彼女の脳脊髄液の採取のご許可をいただきたいのです。また、場合によっては、彼
Dude,
女の頭
what?
内に先
She
行
had
を
to go
開け、
through all of
直接
this?
頭部の中を検査させていただくことになるかもしれません。
頭蓋骨に穴ですか？
もちろん、安全性には最大限注意します。リカさんは、たった一人しかいない女王感染者なのです。間違っても危害を加えることがないよう、私どもで最も安全な方法を模索した上で提案させていただいています。
もちろんリカちゃんは女の子ですもの。頭部先行周辺の頭髪には気を使いますので、ただ経過を慎重に見るためにしばらく入院をしてもらうことになりますが。
もちろん、その間面会謝絶ということはありません。
Was 1980s medical care this barbaric? Probably. Yeah.
検査にもぜひ立ち会ってください。お父さんが身近におられた方がリカさんも安心するでしょう。
その検査はどう
I
し
mean,
て
they
も
were
必要なもの
Irie
で
is still talking about performing lobotomies, so yeah.
安全なものなのですか？
脳脊髄液の採取も頭蓋の先行もどちらも 100% の安全を保証することはできません。常に 1% の危険があります。またリカさんに身体的あるいは精神的苦痛を与えるでしょう。いくら重要な検査といえどもご家族の同意なしには行えません。
リカちゃんには実はもう同じ話をしていますわ。
リカはなんと？
自分は構わないと、それはもうあっけらかんと。
リカさんには危険や苦痛が伴う可能性があることをもちろん十分に説明しています。ですがやはり保護者の方の承諾をいただかないわけにはいきません。
リカは自分のことを本当
I've
に
seen the extras, and apparently some of the medical scenes were very accurate, looked brutal and painful just to get a CAT scan or something. Yeah.
だから
Yeah. Medicine has come a long, long way in like a short
自
amount
分
of
の
time.
義務だと思っているところがあるのかもしれません。
立派なお子さんだと思います。
一応家内とも相談させてください。納得はしてくれているのですが、やはりことがことなので話をしないわけにもいかない。
ええ、ご家族の同意は不可欠だと思います。よくご相談なさってください。
その検査は病気の根絶のために重要な意味があるのですね。
CAT scans suck? I don't think I've ever done one before.
ひなみ沢症候群のベールを剥ぐ
How are they like?
決定的なものになるでしょう。
決定的なものの第一歩にですわね。
すでにご
So
説明しておりますよう
claustrophobic.
に、
Ah,
女
yeah.
王感染者に万一のことがあった場合、感染コミュニティに致命的な崩壊をもたらす危険性が予見されています。平たく申し上げると、村人全員が突如として末期発症を起こす可能性もあるということです。
ええ。
Or CT scan, yeah, yeah.
急性発症の
I mean, like literally in medieval times, right? People like all there was for medical practices was like everyone thought illnesses had to do with like the bad blood, right? So they would like they thought like draining your like blood, like you know, you would just like they would cut you open and like just basically drain out like a third of your blood would help.
それだけは絶対に防がなくてはなりません。
リカが死ぬようなことがあ
It's
れば
probably similar,
村
Dinah.
中が大パニックに陥って恐ろしいことに。
はい、それを防ぐのも私たちの役目です。そのために危険を冒さなければならないのはとても皮肉なことですが、根絶のためには避けて通れない道だと思っています。
入江先生、必ずその検査を成功させていただけますか？
ですから医学には 100% や絶対などという。
ええ。
Irie answered with a nod, interrupting Takano's vague response.
私入江京介が命を懸けて必ずやリカさんを救います。村人も救います。絶対にです。
わかりました。家内と相談させてください。その上で後日改めてお返事させていただきます。
はい、よろしくお願いいたします。
Okay. Takano. After Rika and her father left, Takano started to
ど
laugh.
うしましたか？何か愉快なことでも。
いえいえ、患者とご家族から律儀に事前承諾を取られていたのがなんだかおかしくって。
リカさんには本来無用の苦痛を強いています。それくらいは最低限の礼儀だと思いまして、去年の男も正常な状態にあれば事前承諾を取りたかったところです。
入江所長はここの研究を始められてからずっと罪の意識に苛まれているのではありません？
それはどういう意味ですか？
The type of teasing was normal from Takano, but maybe she had gone a little too far. Irie made it clear how displeased he was to hear that.
ひなみ沢症候群の研究は生きた検体を裁くことでしか進められない。それが分かってなお、あなたはこの研究を進めることに罪の意識を感じている。
罪の意識は必要です。殺人であれ、解剖であれ、相手に死を強いる点で変わりません。私たちはその罪を受け止めてなお、その死を無駄にしないために最大限の努力と研究を重ねなくてはなりません。
ご高説ですわね。
Impressive theory? What do you mean a theory?
では入江所長、あなたはこれまで人の脳を切り取ることに何度の事前承諾を取られた
Well,
と
yeah, I
いうんで
guess
す
coming from Irie, it might be a bit much. Irie didn't think Takano knew about
あ
that.
なたの人の罪は脳の疾患によるものという独りよがりで、一体何人の患者が事前承諾なく脳を切除されたんですの？
It was already quite extreme here with the mere testing subjects for research, disregarding them as humans is insane. Of course, genocide wouldn't be that far off. Yeah, yeah. At the same time, I feel like, you know, Irie is trying to have a moral high ground right now when he doesn't really have that much of, like, I mean, obviously it's still better to have that, but it's like, his, like, it's weird where he draws the line.
常識は時代で変わる。当時は医者が治療をいちいち説明することなどなかったし、事前承諾なんて大したものではなかった。だから当時のことは気にしなくていいんじゃないですかしら。今は倫理上問題があっても当時は問題なかった。ならばいいじゃありませんの。でもそれに罪を感じているからリカちゃんやあの男にさえも事前承諾が取りたかった。
それは誤解です。そもそも治療と解剖では患者。
ねえ坊や、あなたが欲しいのは事前承諾という名の免罪符。そうでしょ？あなたが欲しいのは過去の罪をあがないたいという心を満たすだけの欺瞞、 そのためだけの免罪符。後悔しているならば二度と脳に関わらなければいい。なのにだらだらと後悔しながら、あなたはいつまでも未練がましくこの世界で脳に関わっている。その罪の意識が本物なら、あなたはあの時所長就任の話を断ればよかったはず。そうでしょう、坊や。
とても不快です。私は失礼させていただきます。
聞きなさい。医学は常にその時代の倫理や価値観との戦いから勝ち取られるの。かつて高野先生がひなみ沢症候群の存在を予見した時、その時代の権威たちは自分たちの無知を棚に上げ、その先見性を嘲笑った。でも病に倒れる直前まで研究を捨てなかったわ。必ず自分がいつか評価される日が来ると信じて、そしてその日が自分の死後であったとしても必ず来ると信じて。それは強い信念と揺らぎのない鉄の意志があるから成し遂げられること。そうでなければ時代の無理解に高野先生は屈していたはず。研究はね、意志の力で成し遂げるのよ。絶対的に強固な意志だけが結果を紡ぎ出す。でもあなたにはそれがない。
This is where she starts disliking Irie.
あなたは自分の実績を誇るべきか恥じるべきかすら自分で決めかねている臆病者よ。そんな中途半端な覚悟でよくこのような研究所の所長を引き受けられたものね。血塗られた両手をさらに血に浸すことでしか明かせぬ研究だと最初から分かっていたはずなのに。
否定はしません。私は中途半端かもしれない。
ならば所長を辞任なさっては。守秘義務は残るでしょうけど、あなたはこれ以上罪の意識に苛まれなくて済むでしょう。私にとってあなたはパートナーである以前にクライアントが要求した人事上の駒でしかない。こうして研究機関が成立した今、あなたの存在はもう重要ではないの。しかもその上、研究に対する覚悟が足りず、研究のパートナーとしても役立たずなら、あなたは無能の用なしよ。私は一人でも研究をやめない。どんな罪も後悔も恐れない。強固な意志だけが未来を紡ぐ。かつて高野先生が高潔な精神で成し遂げたように、私もたった一人でも成し遂げてみせる。
立派な決意だと思います。ですが私もあなたに及ばないにしてもわずかの決意があってここへ来ています。そしてあなたの言う通り、私の手はすでに血にまみれています。そしてひなみ沢に来てさらに血に浸しました。だからその責任を全うするまでは私は逃げることはできません。相変わらず私は罪を清算できず苛まれ続けるでしょう。でも逃げない。必ずひなみ沢症候群の研究を決着させます。それだけがこの研究に命を捧げてくださった方、そしてこれから捧げることになるかもしれない方への最後の誠意だと思っています。
Irie wore a determined look on his face. He appeared different from even a moment before, when he was baffled by Takano having brought up those painful memories. For a short while, Irie's eyes displayed a strong will, and then he turned
お
around.
そらくリカさんの検査は承諾が取れるでしょう。準備をお願いします。
ええ、心得ましたわ、所長。
They got their consent the following week. Okay. So let's go through and see what they'll be able to do. They now have Rika's consent. Whatever it is. Right? Let's go through and see what I may be able to do next time. Not yet. The death of Satsuko Hojo's aunt is required. But yeah. This might take... what, like 2 more streams or so? Actually, no, probably 3. 3 more streams, I'm thinking. Because I still have this stuff. So I think probably this we'll probably do what's tomorrow? Yeah, tomorrow's Friday, so I'll probably do something like, so on Sunday will be the day that's like I do my extra stream. So Sunday we'll probably stream some more Higurashi, and then once again we'll do it on as we've been doing Wednesday and Thursday. So, and then hopefully we will look to be done with this here. And then from then on, I don't know. What is there to progress with? I'm guessing maybe, does it lead into the final segment that lasts 10 hours? I don't know. But it definitely feels like, with how this segment, or with how this chapter's been going so far, it feels like the next one would be one big segment. So we'll see. Okay, but speaking of which, before I leave, I do want to check and see what I would be able to do next. Okay, so consider for the cerebrospinal fluid. This we can do now. Okay. Rika fluid is high fever. We don't have high fever. Okay. Death of Koizumi Sensei. We don't have Death of Koizumi Sensei yet. Not this yet. We still don't have the detailed test results yet. No clue. No clue. Red capsule. We know when the red capsule is going to be coming in, so we don't need to wait for that. Yeah, here's where the red capsule is. Okay. Okay. So, yeah, seems like next time the thing we definitely need to do is where's that? This one up here. Consent for the cerebrospinal fluid. And then I don't know if there's anything else yeah. Okay. That'll be let me actually click on it. Yeah, let me click on it and then save, because this is where I can save, right? Right there. Okay. Save right here. Okay. That'll be it from me then for today. Thank you for everyone who stopped by the stream. I appreciate it. And I will be back with more Higurashi on Sunday. And tomorrow, it'll just be